Isaiah, what high school did you go to?
I went to Reynolds High School in Winston-Salem. So we moved my eighth
Oh,
grade year because my
oh, okay.
mom, it's kind of like the Fresh Prince story. She didn't want me that she knew bits. She didn't find out until much later. They knew bits and pieces about some of the stuff that happened in sixth grade, but they didn't know the whole story. There's a lot of secrets even now with that. But we moved, to Winston because my dad's jobs was mainly on the East Coast at this point, and it was being too much with, you're coming home and you're on the East Coast most of the year, and you coming here for the summer, coming here for a week of Christmas, or week tailspin where they come get me for the summer, but then we go up to Ohio for a little bit in Columbus. So we go to Columbus where some of my family in Ohio and Youngstown,
Mm-hmm.
where some of our families is at in Ohio, and spend time with them. But then we just moved to the East Coast. It was easier to just be
Okay.
over there, and that kind of
Where the
interests
East
me
Coast?
more
Where?
in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
because
you
by
said
this
Winston Salem. I'm sorry. I'm
that's all
sorry.
right. That's all right.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Now, see,
Yeah.
by this time, my cousins was going to my older cousins that were going to colleges. They were going to HBCU, so they went to Tuskegee. Try and get this right. I think one went to Morehouse. And so, like, you were at a lot of colleges in North and South Carolina, and at the time, North Carolina was known for. North Carolina still does have a lot of, higher institutions of learning. So
Mm-hmm.
you had that. So it's like you got to see the schools in real time. Like when I drove past Morehouse and Spelman for the first time, I was like, they were on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like you see, like, especially like with Martin and Living Single, with them wearing the
Like
sweaters and
the
t-shirts from
sweatshirts.
different
Mm-hmm.
HBCUs, you would see like here in Winston, see, it was good contrast is in Denver. You didn't really see a lot of people that had nameplates or members of different Greek letter organizations. Um, where I'm at in Winston, we have the Winston State University, and then A&T is in the next city over at Greensboro, where I went, and Bennett, and you have all these HBCUs here. So you'd see a lot of Black people with tags. So it wasn't uncommon to see someone with a Morehouse tag or a Spelman tag or decal on the back, different fraternities and sororities,
Mm-hmm.
different affluent or Black organizations, and having that exposure to that. So while it was a little bit of exposure in Denver, it was greater exposure in Winston.
Okay. And how? Okay. So greater exposure, and during that time in high school, with all the exposure that you was able to receive, what did you take from it? What are some key takeaways? Like, what was your experience like? What did how did you carry it throughout high school? I'm gonna get some more of your high school experience, on a personal level.
At first, I didn't know how high school was going to work because I did not have a good eighth grade year.
Mm.
Very traumatizing experience. Fought all the time. Couldn't get along with no one. Tried, but then it was like when I got to, because funny story, I wasn't supposed to go to the school I was supposed to go to. I wanted to go to the school my dad graduated from, and I had gotten into so many fights the eighth grade year. The principal was like, "No, go ahead and give Reynolds a try." And they said, "Reynolds don't work, then you can come to us since you asked." And Reynolds ended up working. I ended up meeting some good people. Um, I got to work on my talent a little bit more because
Okay.
I had been dabbling in songwriting and writing short stories and stuff then, but I got into it more at
Have
Reynolds
you?
then. I
Okay.
got into
I'm sorry.
doing, oh, no problem. And then I got to doing more of the, I got on the step team. I got
Oh,
on a
okay.
service
Okay. That's okay.
organization.
Good.
So I got to be active. I got to be, and I hung around with everybody. So one minute you might see me with the football team. Next minute you might see me with the guys in golf. Next minute I'm hanging out with gays and lesbians,
The
chilling with
golf.
them. So
Yeah.
next thing you know, I'm with
You
with
got it where you
my
fit
family.
in.
So I
Yeah.
tried to, get along with everybody because my thought process was I really, coming up somewhere along the line, I really believe that the children are the future, and heal the world. Those songs were my favorite
Oh.
songs because it was like about unity, and I
Yeah.
really
So you
wanted
was
to
just,
embody that and have
yeah,
that.
it was just that Gandhi type of guy. Mhm. Even
Yeah.
though, well, that's not the best example.
No,
School
no, it's not
history,
bad.
not
I think about what you
necessarily,
said
you
for a
know.
minute. I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah,
but the heart was in the right place.
yeah, yeah.
We wanted that we wanted the perception of that
Right, the
experience.
perception. Okay, good. Okay,
So,
valid point. Yeah, yeah, duly noted.
right.
Yeah. So, alrighty. So, no, I forgot. What I was going to ask you? Because I want to search something. Oh, did you submit any of your work? At that time, any talent show, any any type of what you call it? We submit
Like
your work. You
like
know,
contests and stuff.
contest, and it
Um,
was something else. But yeah,
yeah,
but
I
yeah.
actually was looking into publishing then because by this time I was an avid
Oh,
Black Enterprise reader, and between Black Enterprise and the Source, those were like my first business books, if you will. I learned a lot about doing publishing. I had got to a point to where now when I get my new Black book or whoever, I was looking for the publishing companies. Didn't know all the rules and stuff, but I was finalizing my first book. We call it, the joke is my first three books are the triplets, because
mm,
initially I kind of like did like one of the things if I go back to an earlier question you said about what I took away from Terry Macmillan's Wait to Exhale, I
mm,
did like a lot of Black authors back then. I found four characters I wanted to write about, except instead of writing about women and their problems, I wanted to write about things teenage Black boys were going through that I didn't feel like
nice.
we were getting
Yes,
help
it's not
and
talked about enough. Yeah.
talked
Mm-hmm.
about. So
Mm-hmm.
I assigned each boy an issue, and I did that. My 10th grade teachers edited my first book. In
No,
parts. Initially, it was supposed to be short
oh,
stories, and then what ended up happening was I weaved it together into a novel, and one novel became two, and two became three. So I had written, by hand, and I was selling by this point because at first it was like, well, let me raise the money because I had heard self-publishing was popular. I had met Lynn Harris by then and had followed
really?
Omar Tyree's career by then and
Mm.
realized that they had got on by self-publishing. I said,
You
well,
said you met Elaine Harris?
yeah, I went to a book signing. He came to
Really?
Winston. I want to say it was when he did Abide with Me.
That is so
It was
dope.
the fourth or fifth book. Don't hold me to it. But it was the fourth or fifth book. He did a book signing in Winston Salem, and I got to talk with him about because up until this point I wanted to be a lawyer, like most
Mm.
Black kids wanted to be a lawyer.
Mhm.
But when I met him, I was like, well, I can write books too because John Grissom writes books and he's a lawyer. So I, kind of got the seeds in for that. And I was like, well, how would I get this done? I had wanted to own my own publishing company because I was like, well, I don't have to own my own record company. Let everybody else be on. A lot of people that want to be rap, they can have the rapping part. Let me just figure out how the publishing part works, and maybe I could work with them, later on down the line. So that was the plan.
Nice. Okay. I'm glad you're able to get to experience that. You had a full life so far. Yeah, I'm loving this. I'm really loving this. And you have so much more to do. So I think that's wonderful, that
Thank
you're able to, get into all of these different experiences. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying this.